we must involve our children in zero waste. Even more, we must involve our babies in zero waste. How can you involve babies in zero waste? Easy. Eco-Bimbi. Reusable diapers instead of disposable diapers. Do you know these disposable, this is reusable, disposable diapers are about 13% of the residual fraction. It's a big chunk of poop. And it cost a family about $2,000 to put a baby through disposable diapers, and much, much less to put them through reusable diapers. It's a win-win situation. Now, economic incentives. Economic incentives. Here's one system. The compostables take for free, the recyclables take for free, but the residual fraction, the more you make, the more you pay. This is the most expensive part of our program, is what the cost of the landfill, which is grossly underpriced here. You need to jack up the tipping fee at the landfill to give incentives to your businesses to have their cardboard recycled, their paper, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, and this goes hand in hand with another problem, which many of you know about. Most of the focus here is on domestic waste, but most of your waste is produced in the commercial sector, the commercial industrial sector, and the government is not doing much about incentives in this sector, and yet the material from commerce is much more homogeneous. It's much easier to handle. What is it? From the shopping malls and the supermarkets, it's cardboard, cardboard, cardboard. Good market for that, no problem. From offices, it's paper. From restaurants and hotels, it's bottles and cans and food waste. So this is relatively simple stuff. It's simpler, it's less complicated than the domestic waste stream. But we're putting all the effort on the domestic waste stream and letting these people sink. And that's all because your tipping fee at the landfill is too cheap. It doesn't take into account the full cost of looking after that landfill in the future. Now, some people, some communities hate this. Some activists, oh no, I already pay for my waste in my rates. I'm not going to charge anymore. I'm not going to pay anymore. He said, okay, all right then, we'll have a different system. We will save as you throw. We will fix a baseline of how much residual waste we think is basic per capita. When we come to pick yours up, if you make less waste than the basic, we will pay you. We'll give you a rebate on your rates. And so, and there's no penalty. There's nothing negative here. If you go over, no charge. But if you go under, you get money back. So there are different ways of doing this. In Italy, this town, I misspelled this, Villafranca with an A, Villafranca d'Asti in Piemonte, population 3,000, went from 70% to 85% using this pay-by-bag approach. It's a very effective way of changing people's habits when they have to pay more money for that residual fraction. In Spain, Ersabil went from 28% to 86% with a combination of door-to-door collection, which they've never had before. That's the Italian system, they call it, and the pay-by-bag system. The other reason they went is a community of 6,000. The other reason they did that is they tried to build an incinerator in Ersabil. And so they decided that they better show the authorities what could be done. So we've tried a lot now. Okay, we've done composting, we've done recycling, we've done reuse, we've done deconstruction, we've got economic incentives, we've got waste reduction initiatives, but we still have residuals left over. And so that brings us to step 8. And step 8 is the most important step if we're really going to get close to zero waste. And this makes the residual fraction very visible. The incinerators will make it disappear, or pretend that it's disappearing in nanoparticles and ash. But we don't want to make it disappear. Even if we had a magic machine, we don't want to make it disappear, because these residuals are our mistakes, our industrial mistakes, our purchasing mistakes. So let's make it visible. And this is where community responsibility and industrial responsibility come face to face in this step 8. Step 8 is a residual separation and research facility which is built in front of the landfill. And I would urge you to consider trying to get government money to build this rather than an incinerator. Rather than building an incinerator in front of an ash landfill, you build this in front of a temporary, smaller, safer landfill. So what does it look like? It's built in front at the entrance to the landfill. No waste can go directly into the landfill. It's got to be screened, it's got to be observed, it's got to be separated. We've got to make it visible. More recyclables can be pulled out. There's very simple stuff. Magnets again can get some steel. You can pull out the bulky items like cardboard, etc. You can pull out especially the toxics like paint and solvents, etc. And also the dirty organic fraction is not touched. That isn't touched. That goes all the way to the end of your conveyor belts, is shredded, and goes to a composting operation to stabilize it above ground before it causes problems underground, before it creates leachate and methane and odors. All of that, steps 1 through 5, are operating in Nova Scotia and have since 1995. What is needed now is the last step, which is to introduce into this facility a research center, a zero waste research center, to actually study these materials. So this is operating in Nova Scotia. Well-protected workers on conveyor belts pulling out these different things. This is on videotape, the one I mentioned on Nova Scotia. What we need, as I say, is to put a research center in here to study the currently non-recyclable fraction. And I would like to see local universities provide professors and students who are interested in sustainability. This is their workshop. This is the laboratory for sustainability, where you can see our mistakes. We must involve professors and students in zero waste.